This is me. I was 7 years old at the time, celebrating my newborn sister's first Easter with my family. For me, growing up around this age was full of trials and tribulations. Shortly before this Easter celebration, I was rushed to the hospital after suffering from a head wound that exposed my skull to open air. I missed a week of school as a result, and upon returning, things were just not the same. My peers had to play gentle with me, I was unable to attend outdoor recess, and I was even stared at religiously, having had purple bruises and a 6-inch long scar down the side of my face. Now, I bet you're asking yourself, what the heck even happened to you? The answer? I was attacked by my uncle's cat. Silly, I know. As funny as it sounds, my earliest memory of life is of Mittens, the cat, pouncing at my face and then the world subsequently going black after. Ironically, cats have always been my favorite animal, but that's besides the point of this video. Now, 15 years later, as a community engagement scholar in CESP, I am creating this digital story to answer the ultimate question, what does community service mean to me? To answer, I think it's best to start with the origins, my first volunteer position. I was raised in a nonprofit family, as I like to call it, and grew up observing my mom as she worked for a blood donation center called Vitalin, where she hosted and organized numerous blood drives throughout my hometown. Growing up with an injury that could have been quote-unquote much worse, I was constantly reminded of how lucky I was to be able to see out of both eyes, to be able to walk around without any face deformities, and to even have been able to afford such immediate and effective care. My mom constantly reminded me of these things, especially since the blood she collected and advocated for went to patients who experienced similar or more dire situations than the one from my youth. So when people look at me and ask, how did you get your scar? I am not only reminded of the image of Mittens attacking me, but I immediately think of my mother's influence and the worldview she bestowed upon me from a young age, which is, to state it simply, I'm a fairly lucky kid. I grew up in a family that was able to bounce back from a financially draining medical expenditure, and I was able to heal from it incredibly well. As odd as it sounds, this is really the motivation for much of my volunteer work, and I carried this mindset with me to college. Freshman year, I found myself researching numerous clubs and extracurriculars to join. And after stumbling across CESP, I knew I had found the perfect fit. The program would allow me to set goals for myself and track my volunteer progress, and I would be able to continue to make sense of what community engagement means to me as a scholar. Beyond CESP, my extracurricular exploration also led me to find the Minnesota Student Association, specifically its Basic Needs Task Force, a cohort of students dedicated to eliminating food and housing insecurity on campus. From there, with the help of CESP, I began volunteering for People Serving People as a meal server, aiding shelter staff with door-to-door meal delivery service amidst the pandemic. Next, I got involved with the food group and became a part of the organization's Fare for All program, which hosts numerous low-cost pop-up grocery store sites throughout the Twin Cities. In this position, I have been able to help operate some of these sites, which has been incredibly rewarding. And most recently, I began an internship with Second Harvest Heartland, a food bank, working in their SNAP department and conducting outreach to potential SNAP clients. Interestingly, without the intention, nearly all of these opportunities I have taken advantage of are related to food insecurity. This led me to solidify my academic plan at the U of M. I became interested in policy and law, and how these two areas can be harnessed for social good. I decided to take on 3 majors: economics, which would allow me to learn about poverty and income inequality; political science, which would allow me to learn about government structure, policymaking, and the judiciary; and Spanish studies, which would allow me to learn how to better communicate with different communities. As Parker Palmer once said, before you tell your life what truths and values you have decided to live up to, let your life tell you what truths you embody, what values you represent. I am not sure whether I will choose the political or legal career route, but one thing remains certain. I hope to carry my commitment of helping other individuals with me wherever I go, and I hope to be guided by life and uphold the values I represent in my work. Every time I look in the mirror, I see my scar and am reminded of my good fortune. I have a stable life laid out before me, and will most likely be able to recover from any future emergency-based situation. However, this is not the case for many others. Hopefully, I will be able to contribute to a more just and equal society for these individuals, and I am excited to keep working toward this goal.